Greetings. So this video is about troubleshooting error E13 on GFI series. If you have one of these little space heaters, they're quite reliable when they work, when they do work, but when they do not work, it's a bit of a pain in the neck. So I'm gonna show or share with you guys how I troubleshoot the E13 error on MPI. You can see here, MPI GF18 series. I think it's applicable to other models, GF2000 series, and things like that. But anyways, so this unit produces, it's a pretty nifty unit. It does 20,000 hours of BTU is the input, and it has what does it say? Manifold pressure 1.34. And I'm trying to read the specs here that's on the side of this heater that the installers put, but I'm not able to decipher what exactly. You would think that the pressure would be in PSI, but I don't know. They put a 1.34 L. I don't know if that stands for pounds or liters or and what have you, but I do remember that it has 20,000 BTU hours, and it is, this particular heater runs on gas. So here's the probe, which you can see right there, and yeah, so when you get the E13 error, as I said, for me, it was a bit of a pain in the neck because the temperature is in the 30 degrees Fahrenheit in the northeast of United States. So first, what you have to do is you obviously have to shut the unit off. You just press the button right there, turn it off, and then look in the back of your unit. So there's a fan there that blows the hot air, and then also make sure that valve there, that's the gas valve, incoming gas valve. So you can shut that off. I'm not gonna do that because it's running now because I fixed it. And then gently, because you have these hose in the back, you want to be careful not to break anything or wreck anything. And first and foremost, safety. What you should do is you should unplug the power cable from the wall outlet, and then once that's loose, you need to gently release. There is the spring there. There's a spring hook there that attaches the back of the gas heater to the outside flue or exhaust hole, vent hole. So anyway, so you have to undo that spring, that hook there. I have to put it back together, and then you need to basically detach the unit from there, and it comes apart. What you basically do is you just see right there, if you feel that where that cloth is, like the where the joint is, so if you feel there's cold air coming in my case that was what was happening. So there was a gap in between the pipe there, the pipe in the back to the vent, to the exhaust vent there. the Flue. So between those two, you have to make sure that that joint is secure and connected properly, and you kind of have to hold the heater from the front, you know, after you take the cover off. So this is after you take the cover off. There are two screws. There's like a Phillip head here, right there, and then also on the other side, same thing. So take that one off, and then it comes apart. The heater comes apart like that, and on the inside you can read the circuit or the wiring diagram and things like that. I didn't bother to do that. I tried to look something up on YouTube, but there's nothing there, so it was kind of like the only thing I found was E13 error corresponds to, for these units, blockage in the vent, the exhaust pipe there in the back, or loose connection. So what I did was, once I detached the back and loosened the spring hook there, so I gently moved it, turned it so that it's at an angle, like maybe 35, 40 degree or 45 degrees. And once that's done, I traced all the little pipes, the rubber pipes there. So there's two pipes here. One pipe, rubber pipe, feeds into there in the back there. The other one is right there where it's clamped down. That's the original rubber pipe that it came with, the unit came with. But the second one I had to replace with. So what I did was I took a copper tubing that I got from the hardware store, and the same diameter as the one there, and basically replaced the rubber tubing with the copper tubing from here. So this is the second one, the second tube from here. Make sure that all the joints are snug there and it's clamped down tight and there's nothing loose there. Follow it, and then it goes through that slit in the back, and it basically ends up down about there. You see that? See that black casing there? So there's one screw there, there's two screws, second one there, held with a rubber bushing or a washer there, and then a third one just on this side, which is right there, right next to this hose there. So once you remove those three screws in the back, that big giant hose there, the bigger hose there, so that whole thing comes apart, and that's where that second copper tubing, I don't know if you can see it, that attaches to the end there, in the back. So make sure that those pipes are tight, snug, and clamped down. Once that's the case, then gently move the unit back to the position that it's currently in, not at an angle. So it would be at an angle here, like this, when you're troubleshooting this and going in the back. It's kind of given how these things are so close to the wall, it's a bit of a maneuver. So if you have a second person to help you out, that'd be great. In my case, I didn't have anyone I didn't have the privilege to have a helping hand, so I had to kind of do it by yourself. So but it's not like a rocket science. It's something that you can do. Anyone who is patient and is willing to do a little work. So once those things are clamped down, and check also, make sure that there's nothing blocking the Flue. Like in this on the inside, I took a rag and cleaned it out, and then I Anywhere there is, round holes, I made sure that there's no blockages, and the pipes the tubings are snug and nothing is loose. Once that's done, what I then did was, I think that's all I did, really. And of course, there's a lot of dust and crap in the back and underneath the heater. And then, the other thing I did was I checked to make sure that that's the control board. So that has all the, basically that's the brain of the heater. So I made sure that, none of the, like there's a capacitor there, and then there are a bunch of computer chips there. And there's also another capacitor there, and then bunch of resistors there. I just made sure that there's nothing loose or nothing disintegrating or bulging, especially the caps, and everything looked good there and solid, dry, and secure, the board to the metal plate. So after I did that visual inspection, then I checked to make sure that all the electrical connections are okay. Of course, for safety reasons, while I'm doing this, the unit is completely unplugged, like you would do. So once that's done, then I fired up the unit. So you just press the on button and then click on the time/temperature button there, and then select your desired temperature, and then the last button you would push is the set button. So once that's done, and then what the heater does is it tries to, so initially after you've checked everything and troubleshot, what it would do is it would try to do a check to see if there's gas, if there's gas coming into the unit. I think that's the gas chamber there, and then it checks all the vents, the exhaust, the pipes, make sure that nothing is blocked. So if everything clears, you don't get that annoying E13 E is here and then 13 is here on this side error with a long beep, single beep, like continuous beep, but it's a long intermittent beeps. But once it does the initial check after troubleshooting, and it tries to blow the fan, and tries to get rid of all the heat inside here. There are two fans here. So there's the one fan there, the little one that's I'm shining my light on. It's a blue one, it's a tiny little plastic fan, and then the big fan that blows the actual heat from the heat chamber is this one here. That's made of metal and it has the metal casing. So that comes on, and then after the heating chamber here gets working, mixes the gas and oxygen and things like that with the spark, and then it tries to blows the hot air. You can kind of feel it. I can kind of feel it here. But and the last thing is, you don't when the heater does not want to ignite, see this burn button there? The burn button, it lights up, turns orangish or amber color, and then it doesn't ignite, and you don't feel any hot air coming out of here. But that's not the case after you fix the E13 error. So right now there's no error and all the lights are lit. So I'm gonna put it back together, put the cover back on. But that's how I fix the E13 error on MPI GF1800 heater. It's a tiny little heater, but it's pretty reliable. It's been running, I don't know, for a long time, 5+ years. So hope this is helpful, And the reason why I'm putting this is there's not much troubleshooting videos or educational information out there. This is only educational. I'm not a heater mechanic, so this is not an advice. So I do not accept any responsibilities if any damages occur on your machine. But this is for entertainment and educational purpose only. Oh, one last thing I wanted to mention is the tools I used is obviously a Phillip head. If you have one of these, it's great because you can put it in your hand, and then in tight spaces you can get a hold of those screw heads, and tiny flat head. And it would be helpful if you have a longer Phillip head for things that you can get to from the top or from the side. And then of course flathead. That's basically the tools I use. I try to use this nifty little tool to unhook that spring in the back, but you don't really need it. You can just use your hand, your finger, gently, and kind of untie the hook. But anyway, that concludes the video. Hope this is helpful. Adios.